Hey gang, I got another great anonymous question that I wanted to bring to you. They say, help, I need some housework hacks for the pandemic. My wife has been unwell regularly and I'm finding myself loading dishes, tidying, and I'm going crazy. Can you help? Gang, running a household is really just a second job. So why don't we approach it with the same rigor as our regular work? Maybe because we feel like we shouldn't have to be on after work hours are over? Sorry, doesn't cut it. Whatever the reason, we're shooting ourselves in the foot when we don't create systems to efficiently tackle house cleaning and chores. So here we go. Step 1. Purge first. There's nothing better than eliminating something entirely, because when we minimize how much stuff we have and how much stuff we're responsible for, there's just less to take care of. This works at the micro and the macro level. On the micro level, when you have fewer pots and pans, for example, you're forced to clean them and reuse the ones you have, rather than dirtying up 30 dishes every night. Now, on a macro level, I've had tons of clients who have downsized their house after the kids move out, just because that means less house to clean. I call this the shoe rack problem. No one says to themselves, boy, I would love to have a giant shoe rack. But when you get too many shoes, suddenly you need another possession to collect other possessions, a shoe rack. And then we need a bigger house, then more stuff begets more stuff, and it all just spins out of control, unless we regularly purge things from our life. I personally love the Marie Kondo method, and there's a great documentary on Netflix about minimalism. Check that out and get inspired to purge things from your life first. And don't even try to purge everything at once. Just take it one small slice at a time. Instead of purging your entire kitchen, start by purging the silverware drawer. Yes, it will take months to do it like that, but you'll actually do it. Which leads me to my next point. Gang, incrementalism over totalitarianism. Listen, I understand the impulse to try to take it all on at once, to just get it done, but you can't win the war in one battle. You just can't, and if you try, you're gonna burn yourself out and you're gonna run the other way. So accept right now, this is a war, and you're gonna have a lot of small battles and skirmishes. I personally adopt the 1% better rule. Whatever I touch, whatever I engage with, I try to take an extra second to just make it 1% better. So if I'm taking a book off the shelf, I take an extra second to arrange the books. If I'm grabbing a shirt from the drawer, I take a moment to fold the shirts and organize them a little. And within a week of just doing that, you can already see a massive change without ever feeling like you really needed to find extra time in your schedule. So gang, adopt an incremental approach instead of trying to take it all on at once. That's actually self-sabotage in disguise. Pro tip, I often find myself with little tiny bits of time when I'm waiting for a call to start or I'm waiting for my wife to get ready. So I like to set a timer for like 10 minutes and see how much of the living room I can clean in 10 minutes. And I'm always stunned at how much I can do in such a short amount of time. Step 3, clean as you go. This is hard, but it's so worth it. If everybody just cleans their dish right there when they finish it, or at least puts it in the dishwasher, then no one has to tackle that giant pile of dishes at the end of the night. Easier said than done, I know. But this is how I was raised, and when there was a dirty dish in the sink or a stray sock on the floor, everyone got called into the room to see who the offender was. Obviously, that took more time for my parents than just picking up the sock, but over time it paid off because we picked up after ourselves. So don't just use the 1% better rule for yourself. Teach it to your kids, teach it to your housemates. Have them leave everything 1% better than they found it. Step 4, before you get help, do it yourself and create the ideal SOP. Most of the time, only 1 or 2 people are doing the majority of the housework. And often that's because they think that they're the only ones who can do it right. That's actually lazy thinking. The next time you do something, just take the little extra time and create an SOP, a standard operating procedure. That means you have a written and video set of instructions that shows someone else exactly how you want it done. And you'd be surprised. Even a 5-year-old can watch a video and try to mimic you. It's basic monkey see, monkey do activity. That's what humans are great at. So here's your pro tip. If you want something done right every single time, create a written and video set of instructions that covers all learning styles and it's going to get you the best result. We actually have a Google Drive with our SOPs and we just send the link to the house cleaner when she comes. Final thought. No one wants to get it wrong and make you mad. People want to do things right. They want to feel a sense of accomplishment. So set them up for success. Give them an SOP, whether it's your kids, your husband, your house cleaner, set them up for success. And step number 5, put everyone to work. Do you got children? Do you have other adults in the household? Now that you have great instructions for how to do everything, put everyone to work. No free rides, especially in the pandemic. Teach the kids and household members how to thoroughly clean and tidy. Gang, that's the best life hack as far as housekeeping. My client Karen calls her kids her CDAs, Certified Domestic Assistants. It sounds more official that way. Gang, the pandemic proves to us that everybody needs to contribute, but also everybody wants to feel needed. Step 6, invest in time-saving tools. Listen, if you can save 10 minutes a day, 7 days a week, that's 56 hours a year. That's 2 work weeks of time by the end of the year. So yeah, think about making a small investment in time-saving tools. We used to have a Roomba when we lived in LA. I loved the Roomba. Honestly, I had my doubts, but I've never had floors so clean as when we had that little robot. But even a handheld stick vacuum just to save you the time plugging and unplugging in the cords, not to mention schlubbing that heavy vacuum all around the house. And of course, having a dishwasher. You get the point. But even small examples save a lot of time. I bought water spikes for my plant. They're super low tech, but they work great, and I don't have to water my plants every single day now. Here's another tip. Set up a steamer and a whole station right next to the washer dryer, so as soon as things come out of the dryer, make sure that you hang them up or you steam them so you don't have to do all of that stuff later. And finally, think outside the box. Okay, so you've purged, you've designed SOPs that make it unscrew-upable, and you've gotten everybody in the house to chip in. There's still room to get even more innovative. Think about hiring a cleaning helper to do some of the more intensive chores like the deep cleanings, the window cleanings, the stove and oven cleanings. You get the point, the kind of stuff that you don't want to do and you really can't have your kids doing. I even heard about a parent purchasing meal kits from HelloFresh, and she taught her kids how to cook. One mother actually pays her kids on a weekly basis to plan, shop, cook, and clean up after meals. And they're learning a life skill, so everybody's eating healthy and there's less work for the breadwinner of the household. And I can tell you it's cheaper than hiring somebody out. Here's another little example. Carey and I bought a dishwasher only to realize that the real logjam was at the sink. All those large pots and pans were preventing us from rinsing our dishes and putting them in the dishwasher. So here's what we did. We upgraded our utility closet sink to an industrial grade sink with a sprayer. Frankly, it didn't cost that much, and now those pots and pans have their own place and they never jam up the workflow. Listen, if conventional wisdom was so damn good, everybody would be thrilled. They'd be happy, but they're not. So feel free to ditch the expectations that you have and start writing your own script. Gang, it can't be worse than status quo. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And gang, if you're obsessed with human potential and just living your best life like we are, consider subscribing to this channel and joining our journey to absolute lifestyle freedom. I'll see you in the next video.